Hello there, I'm Archbishop Christopher Coyne, and this is Coffee with the Archbishop. I'm drinking some water this morning because I've got a cold, so I want to. Now, one of my last times I showed a cross that was given to a bishop friend of mine by John Paul II, so it's kind of a relic. This is one that was also given to me by a bishop friend of mine, Bishop Peter Rizzaza, and Bishop Rizzaza got it from somebody down the road, and it's Bishop O'Brien's when it was Bishop O'Brien before he became Archbishop O'Brien, because the inscription says the same thing. So this is one that I have, but I'll be showing off some of the other ones that are part of our treasure. Now, joining me today is Mr. Andrew Blaski. Andrew, how do you take your coffee?
I take my coffee black.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Got some real coffee drinkers here today.
That's right.
Andrew is part of a group that's working to put together a new high school using the Chesterton Academy format, the classical curriculum format. So, Andrew, tell us a little about your background. How did you get from college and all that to here?
Yes, great question. I'm from Illinois,
Okay.
Great state of Illinois, or as I joke, the okay state of Illinois.
Yeah. Well, city or south?
I'm out suburbs of the city.
Okay.
So I was in, I don't know, Wheaton, Naperville, grew up in Bartlett is actually the name of the town.
So you're more suburban than urban and rural.
More suburban, that's right. But
Okay.
I felt that, affinity with Chicago, especially I grew up in the 90s as a kid. So Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were at their
course.
prime, and it
And
was
the Blackhawks.
amazing. And the Blackhawks had their day for a while. Yeah, that's right. So I was raised there, raised evangelical Protestant, in fact. Very interested in theology from a young age. So most of my education was focused there. So I went to college in Chicago area in the suburbs, studied theology, scripture, a bit of English literature, and then went on to an evangelical seminary, studied church history, and encountered the church fathers for the first time.
You and Cardinal Newman.
That's right. That's right. I did end up reading a lot of Newman and Chesterton. And from there, I didn't convert yet. I went on to an Eastern Orthodox seminary, studied the church fathers, and then on to the University of Edinburgh in Scotland for 3 years, where I did my doctorate in patristics and wrote on Origen. So that time I was principally in Anglican. And when I came back at the end, moved back to Illinois, didn't have a job yet, sat down and read the whole Catholic Catechism, a great deal of Newman and Chesterton, and that pretty quickly brought about my conversion.
Origen is one of my favorite patristic writers. We could spend the whole chapter, this whole thing, just talking about Origen.
Definitely talk about Origen.
I just love his writings,
Yeah.
and all that. But so when did you cross the Tiber, as they say?
2019 formally.
So
and I'd been moving that way for a while. Wanted to wait till my wife was also ready. We had 3 kids at the time.
Okay.
So we all came in together.
Nice.
And then I've been teaching at Holy Apostles here in Connecticut for the last 7 years as a scripture professor.
Right. So you came back to the United States, got a job at Holy Apostles, and kind of settled in Connecticut.
That's right.
Over the past couple of years, there's been a movement to bring to the state, bring to the Archdiocese of Hartford, a Chesterton Academy format type school. And how did you get started with that? How did you get involved with that?
I was involved. I wasn't there at the starting conversation. There were 3 individuals, Peter Schwartz in particular, Charlie Mahalik, Mike Foss, that began this. So they sort of formed the founding board, and they explored this and began conversations with Father Michael Casey at St. Francis of Assisi in New Britain. So I initially had a chat with them just as an interested parent. Peter reached out to me, and we ended up having a great conversation. And I kind of attended some of the info sessions, and conversations unfolded, and I'd expressed some interest in maybe coming on board. This is a model that was very exciting to me. So there are Chesterton Academies, now over 70 of them across the country and even global now. When I was in Illinois, there were a few of them, and I wanted to send my kids there. Moved to Connecticut, we didn't have any yet. So when this first came up as an idea, I thought, well, this is brilliant, and I'd love to get involved helping to get this thing off the ground.
Before we get into the actual, just kind of letting people know what the curriculum is like,
Yes.
and the school is like, it's a little bit. The Chesterton Academy in New Britain is a little unique because it's a parish school.
That's right.
And the reason why it started, folks, is because you wanted to use the old parish school building in an existing parish that was up and running.
That's right.
And the issue for us was, we could say it's Chesterton Academy and they're just renting the building, but if you're in a parish and you're on the grounds and you're using the building and you're going to church next door, it's in terms of public perception and public reality, we own it. We own it.
Yes.
We can't separate ourselves, and so we said, how about we have a hybrid model where you would take you would come in, you'd run it, Chesterton Academy curriculum, but the parish would be the one who would, hold the lease, hold everything, and take care of you. So I think I give you credit for doing that because it was a kind of stepping outside of silo of
The
Chesterton
typical mold,
Academy.
yeah, that's right. But it's really exciting. It's a great idea, in my opinion. So yeah, we've got this Chesterton network, the support, the curriculum. We're part of the Archdiocese. I love that. I'm grateful for the support. I mean, I love that we get to be part of
And
something.
you
kind of
get our
larger than
benefits.
Archdiocese.
You get all that stuff. So you
There's
don't.
that as
you're-
well.
The Chesterton Academy doesn't have to go looking for health care and everything like that
That's
because
right.
you're actually Archdiocesan employees,
Yeah,
which is
yes,
great.
It's a parish school.
So for our listeners, for our watchers,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell us about what the Chesterton Academy curriculum is like? First of all, there's no sports.
We would like to have sports, though.
Yeah.
So we are intending to field our own athletics department and our own teams eventually.
Okay.
But we're starting small, of course.
Right.
This is where we're at. But yeah, I mean, the curriculum, it's a classical curriculum. And, we could fill multiple episodes talking about classical curriculum and what that means exactly, the trivium, the quadrivium. But I think what sets the Chesterton classical approach apart a bit is that the kind of backbone of it is historical. So history, not meaning history is the most important subject, but that we literally progress chronologically. The students, as freshmen, we begin by transporting them back to the ancient world. So freshman year across the curriculum, in philosophy, they're doing the pre-Socratics, Plato, Aristotle. In literature, Homer and Virgil and Aeschylus. In mathematics,
14-year-old.
Euclid. Yeah, and
Okay.
the Old Testament, logic, astronomy. And I get a lot, there are people who think that's a little intimidating, understandably.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't handle that as a 14-year-old. And I want to say they can.
Yeah.
They really can. And this really touches on the other element here. One of the other elements of the Chesterton model is that it is the Socratic seminar. So freshman year, right, they come in, and then across the 4 years, we're sitting around the table. And not so much the lecture, but more the guided conversation. So the students are able, under the kind of careful care of our teachers, to penetrate these difficult ideas and texts. We move nice and slow. There's no expectation that you're a 14-year-old who's already read through the corpus of Aristotle or anything like that. And the students learn how to articulate their ideas, defend, refine them. It's a skill set they'll take with them the rest of their life. But freshman year is ancient world, sophomore year, early medieval, junior year, high Middle Ages and Renaissance, senior year, the modern world in which we now find ourselves. How did we get here, right? What's the conversation that led to where we are now? How to engage the world and ultimately, illuminate it with the light of Christ, which is our goal as Catholics, right?
Yeah. And the plan is that they would attend Mass daily.
Daily Mass.
Because just have to cross the driveway, basically.
That's
into the
right.
church.
It's right there.
And, and they're very much formed within the Catholic curriculum and all that.
Yeah.
So what about STEM? If I'm a parent, I want to send my child to Chesterton Academy, do you have a classic kind of a real format, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of give and take. If you focus on this is a little bit less, when you're dealing with the STEM.
Yeah, we have mathematics and science across all 4 years.
Okay.
And that is important to say. I'm glad you brought that up because when we talk so much about the humanities and the literature and the philosophy, there is that concern. A lot of parents, a lot of students want the mathematics and the science or the athletics. These are important things that we care about. So 4 years of mathematics, you do begin, there's a classical approach. Like you begin with Euclid. You're reading Euclidean geometry, right? The elements. But we use contemporary mathematics textbooks as well. So you're going from geometry, algebra, or trigonometry, calculus, statistics. In science, you do begin by kind of looking up at the sky, right? You want to spark that wonder.
You talk about Plato's science?
Astronomy. Yeah, what was that?
Plato's science. You kind of start with Plato's science?
Yeah. And right, Plato's science. You go from the kind of introductory physics to biology, chemistry, and back to physics, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that. I would love to have opportunity also for students to kind of experience or at least see some of the trades, get some practical skills as well, either through clubs or kind of a skills lab.
Yeah, and you're big. You have music, drama.
That's right.
Things like that. The other thing too, and this is just an aside, is if you're a homeschool parent or you're going to a school that doesn't provide sports, you can participate in the sports teams of your hometown or city.
Yeah, we are going to explore every creative possibility we can.
No,
to
because
get
we had that.
students
We
even
had
from
that
year one.
when I was in Indianapolis. We had that with all of our schools. Kids
Okay.
participated in the town thing. So, unfortunately,
Yep.
we could talk a lot more about this.
Yep.
But I just got the remark that our time is coming to a conclusion.
Okay.
So it's the Chesterton School at St. Francis Parish in New Britain. And so, anything online yet?
We have a website, yes, chestertonsfa.org.
Chesterton.
You can find
Office.
out more information.
And I'm sure Zach will put it up on the screen for us. Okay. So I am Archbishop Coyne. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Archbishop Coyne, and you have been watching Coffee with the Archbishop. God bless.